Hi, my name is Vicky, and this is Knitting at the Top of the World. So last week I started off the blog, and this week I'm doing the second episode. It's a little late. I got back from Anchorage late last night, and so I didn't get to start it up. But while I was in Anchorage, I did pick up lots of fun things that I'm going to show you. I started a new project, and I did lots of other things, so I can't wait to show you guys. So when I was in Anchorage, I started a new project. It is going to be a cowl, and it's done in two colors in seed stitch. It's made so that it's big enough to loop around, and I'm doing it in a light blue and a white. The white is Cascade Superwash, and the blue is Blue Sky Alpaca. I honestly can't remember the variety, but I bought this all at Far North Yarn Co. in Anchorage on Spenard Road, one of my top 10 favorite yarn stores ever. And she helped me pick out everything, the owner, and helped me get the needles and everything I needed because I forgot my instructions for the knitting I was doing on the airplane. Actually, this is what I was working on the airplane in my little sock monkey bag. I love my sock monkey bag. And so I am working on making a blanket, and it's made on sport weight yarn. This is Malabrigo. Don't know what the colorway is called, but right now I'm starting it. That's one side. This is the other. This is in Malabrigo. It's going to be a lace blanket. It's probably going to take me the next 10 years, but I'm going to keep chucking away at it. But I forgot the instructions, and I kept messing up the stitches, so I'm going to have to go back and rip out stitches and start over with the pattern. And if you ever forget how to do a certain stitch, I really like to use knitpearlhunter.com. She's got great videos. I also was working on my Shibui cowl on the airplane. I got to where the pattern began and realized I forgot my book, but it's growing just a little, not a ton. What else did I do while I was in Anchorage? Oh, when I was in Anchorage, same time when I was at the Far North Yarn Company, I bought my first sock blank. And it's in all these wonderful colors. I just thought it was very cool and fun, and so I'm going to try to make a pair of socks. And it's just fun, and it was made here in Alaska. Actually, this is who made it. Alaska Jude's Yarns. And they give you a little note about how to care for it and who dyed it. And it was dyed here in Wasilla. So, about 1,000 miles south of me, but still in the state. I also purchased some little goods to help me. I bought these beautiful little stitch markers for myself, and I chose the random assortment of beading versus all one color, but that's what I like. And then I also went to another, it's a fiber shop, really, not just a yarn shop, and it's called the Quilted Raven, and it's on 5th Avenue in downtown Anchorage. And I bought these beautiful little stitch markers. And I love the little Russian nesting doll. And I just keep it with all my other little doodads. Got some Band-Aid ones. I keep it in my little tin. So like I said, I went to the Quilted Raven, and I bought some stuff for me and some stuff for my mom. So this is an Alaska-made batik, and it's humpback whales, and this I bought for myself. And it's some good fabric, I think about a yard of this. I bought myself moose fabric. I had little boys last year who would go moose, big moose. And so I bought it kind of thinking of them. And I think I bought a yard of this as well. Then I bought some of these little girls in cussbucks or cleats, depends on where you're from. And so here's my little girls. And this is Barbara Lavelle. It says who it was made by. She's a famous artist. When I was a little girl, I had a book that was illustrated and written by her, but I honestly can't for the life of me remember what her name is. First name is Barbara. I've got that part on here. And then I bought this just because it's so cool. Here, if you look really close, there's all sorts of native drawings, and it's for the area where that animal would normally be living. So like, this is more Athabascan southeastern, same with the puffin, the caribou. But here, if you turn to polar bear, it is much more reflective of the Nupia culture. Let's see if there's anybody else. But I bought a half yard of that too. And then I was also shopping for my mother. So she got whales too. She wanted them in lapis blue though, 1 yard. She also wanted one panel from the Barbara Lavelle collection, and she wanted the kids with the cussbucks who were playing. So I got her one scene as per request. And then she also wanted a rock pincushion. And then I saw this and couldn't resist. Things I moose do. So I'm going to put all that back in the bag. And really that shop was a quilt shop and it was a yarn shop. It sold Quivuyut, which is a fiber that costs about $200 per skein, $225 sometimes. And it's from the musk ox here in Alaska. So that was pretty cool to see too. And she had all different colors. Most places usually only have brown, and she has, I think, 7 different colors and a few different types of yarn. Really good stuff, all Alaskan made. So next I did want to show you one of my pretty things, or my precious things. This is a handmade mukluk keychain. So it's made the same way they would make traditional mukluks, except it's just in a mini form. I bought it. It's going to hang on my Christmas tree at home in Florida. It's made from caribou hide, and I think there's a little bit of seal right here. It's very soft feeling. It's very well made. I bought it in front of the grocery store. I also bought a pair of earrings. These are seal fur. So it's hard to see, but they're fur. And seal fur has actually a totally different texture than you'd think. I'm trying to get a good lighting view of it. Yeah, and so it's beaded around the edge, sewn onto a little piece of leather, and it's really nicely done. And these are just handmade native crafts that you can buy around town if you ask. So those are 2 of my precious things, and my final precious thing is a cussbuck or an cleat. So I'm going to go grab that. So this is a cussbuck or an cleat. I bought it in Anchorage. It was handmade. It's got really nice detail in it. And it's something you would normally wear over your parka or over your warm clothes, but recently people have just taken to wearing them as their own item. It comes down to my knees, Some of them do cut off at waist length, and they're a pretty cool thing to have. So last week I talked about a pair of mitts that I made with some of my yarn, and these are the Aspen mitts. Just trying to get a good view of them. It's got a nice braided front, rib edge, and then braided rib at the top. These I made last year at Christmas time out of a post stitch kit, and here's the other mitten. And I love them. The yarn's good quality. It's just now starting to form fuzzies and pill, but not terribly, considering I wear them almost every day. The pilling is rather, I would say, low, considering I've got other mitts that I've made that are pilling much worse. And trying to think if there's anything else I need to show you. Oh, so one of the things I wanted to do when I was in Anchorage was to find a centerpiece for all my sea glass and sea finds. So I filled it up. There's pieces of glass in here. I think there's 2 bullet casings, all my flat rocks. So this is now going to live on my table. So when I was in Anchorage, I stayed at a nice bed and breakfast, and that was really nice. I went hiking and shopping. It was a nice, relaxing, long weekend. I was able to purchase things that I needed, like I needed more meat to freeze. I had used up my month and a half's worth of food and really needed to restock. And so I did that. I bought probably close to 15 pounds of meat. I did not buy any produce this time. I found that that's the one thing I'm getting relatively an okay deal on here. Because once I ship it to myself from Anchorage, it's practically no good anymore. So I was able to get meat, lots of other frozen items, some canned goods that were cheaper there, some bread, stuff that I can freeze, lots of flatbreads because you can freeze flatbreads. And so I thought it was a successful trip. I did Flat Top Mountain, which is a really nice hike. I saw 2 moose, one on my way to Flat Top Mountain, and then when I was on the hike on Flat Top coming back down, there was a moose down below us on the hike. So that was really cool too. I did the Tony Knowles Coastal Trail, which I really enjoy every year. That's a cool paved trail. It's not really, wouldn't say it's a wilderness trail by any means. It's downtown Anchorage. You can park down on 5th Avenue and walk to it. What else did we do? Oh, the bed and breakfast I stayed at was actually on the side of Flat Top Mountain. So I paid my $5 for the parking pass, but I was able to just go in, park, do the hike. I did not make it to the summit. I've never made it to the summit yet. It turns into a vertical climb, and I cannot vertical climb very well. But I did do the 1.5 miles up and then back down, which was good. I got very close to the summit. I could see it. On the 2 days I did Flat Top Mountain, it actually had low cloud bearing, so I would hike through the clouds and then be out of the clouds once I reached the top, and it was actually really cool to see. I could not see Anchorage below, but I was definitely in a cloud. And anything else? Oh, I got lost on a trail this weekend too. I decided to do the Hillside Park trails, which are ski trails in the winter. And there's about 12 different trails, and the longest one being about, I think it's 15 miles around. And I got very lost back there. I was going for what I thought was going to be about a 30-minute walk, and I ended up being stuck out there for almost an hour till I could find someone to help me get out. I ended up just pacing around, trying to figure out which direction the highway was as best as I could. And luckily there was other people there, and that was nice. But yeah, walking around in the woods in Anchorage is not nearly as... Well, Anchorage is really spread out. So first thing, you could be walking around in the woods in Anchorage and still be 15 miles from the next house. On this trail, I wasn't that far from houses, I just couldn't figure out which direction they were. and I don't use a compass, which I probably should start. But since it's just the beginning of fall, bears are actually pretty active, and so are moose. And so I was really actually playing my music loud. I unhooked my headphones and played my music till I could find another person to be with and who could tell me the way to get out, because I realized I was in more trouble than I had anticipated. But all ended well. No bears were spotted. Moose, but moose aren't going to bother you too much if, like when you're on a trail, if you're above them, elevation wise, you're usually not in trouble. If you're below them or right by them, you might have some issues. But all in all, I think it was a good trip. I started back to school today. We worked a full day, and it snowed all day. The temperature is about 33, and so the snow melted. Didn't gather, but if it had accumulated, we would have had many inches of snow right now. It just did not stop, and at some points it was tough to see even out the window farther than a few feet because it was snowing so hard. So that was cool. Hopefully the snow will start setting down soon. Whaling season is about to begin. My kids are actually talking about which cruise they're on and starting to prep. So that's going to be an interesting thing to see here in Barrow. What else is happening here in Barrow? I think that's everything. Yeah, it's an interesting little town. Oh, we may possibly be doing a yarn tasting party. So the Far North Knitting Company does something called a yarn tasting. And they'll send you a box with all the different yarns, I guess. And instead of something similar to having a Tupperware party where you order pieces of Tupperware, we would be doing that with yarn and ordering yarn. And so I'm debating hosting that. I just have to talk to all the other knitters in my building and see if they would like to be in on that. Because we can all go in as a group and order a lot more yarn. Because we clearly need more yarn. But other than that, I think it's going to be a pretty short post today. I'm hoping next week that I'll have more to post, and it'll be up by Wednesday. I think Wednesdays are going to be the days I post. I'm going to share some of the pictures that I took in the credits following all of this. They're going to be labeled, hopefully, if I can figure out how to do that, but I'm going to tell you what they are in order anyways. The first one is going to be a Far North Knitting Company in their store and what's inside. They're remodeling, so I didn't take too many pictures, but I did take some. The next is going to be my hiking trips, because I'm going to put some space between the two yarn stores. A few pictures from the hiking trips. And then the last pictures are going to be of a quilted raven, which is downtown on the 5th Avenue. And I think that should be good. Just so you know, Far North Knitting Company and the Quilted Raven in Anchorage both have their own websites. I'm going to list them in the comments below. And I think that's all right now. Other than the cowl and all my other projects I'm working on, I haven't started anything too much new. Oh, you know what? I am forgetting something. So I did buy some yarn from the yarn section at the AC store, and I will show you. So I bought some cotton. It's the Sugar and Cream, you know, the 99-cent brand yarn. It did not cost me 99 cents though. It cost me $3.50. And I also bought a set of needles. The needles did cost me only $3.50, but they're probably 99-cent needles too. And what did I make with it? I made a little coaster. Nothing hugely elegant. I've got to weave the end in, but I'm trying to make little coasters to sit on my coffee table, so I'm not constantly sticking my hot tea and coffee on my table. Since I drink tea more than I drink water, this is going to be happening soon. Oh, I also got in DVDs. I do not have cable right now, and so I'm relying very heavily on DVDs through Amazon.com because my internet's also very slow. Like to upload this video, I'm probably going to walk over to not to the high school, to the middle school and upload it before I come back. But all in all, I think we're doing pretty good. My house is a little bit of a mess, and that'll be taken care of. I am wearing something new that I got in Anchorage. I thought it was very fall themed. And so far, so good. So this was Knitting at the Top of the World. We still haven't quite worked out an orderly sense of how I'm going to do the podcast, but there was about 3 sections still of what I'm knitting, my stash enhancement, which really was just my yarn blank, and my little goods in my box, some other fibery stuff, and my pretty things, which happen to right now be still all the native crafts that I'm picking up everywhere. And then I just included a little bit more about what's going on here in Barrow. And like I said, if there's any questions you have about what you would like to know about Barrow, I know a lot of people have talked about Airbnb, if there's Airbnb in Barrow, and there is not. There are couch surfers. I'm thinking about starting doing couch surfing as well for visitors. And there are 3 hotels. Yeah, that's about what's going on right now. And so this will be the end of the podcast, and I will hopefully see more people next week again. Subscribe if you would like. I'm going to work on making a Ravelry group and possibly an Instagram group. But Instagram only works when I'm at my house or at the school because we don't have 3G out here. So it's a little iffy about the Instagram. I have to see if I can even do it. But thank you.